How we doing, everybody, and welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Thursday. We are back. It is a fantastic Thursday. The weather finally straightening. It's starting to straighten out, right? Had a little off day yesterday there. Wasn't able to get on Tuesday night. If you're in the state of Wisconsin listening, I know Illinois was affected by it, and Iowa. I mean, prayers to everybody in Iowa, especially in Greenfield. Some of the damage that was seen there was catastrophic. That was crazy. And then, I mean, here in our own backyard, in the middle of central Wisconsin, Unity, Wisconsin, was nailed with a tornado up there. And that's been about my days here. Electrician here in the middle of the state of Wisconsin. So we're slowly starting to get people's power back on, everything like that. You know, we aren't the linemen of the world, right? We're not playing with power lines, but hey, somebody's got to do something with it after the fact. That's what I like to say. So, I mean, it's been a hectic couple of days, right? We had the power go out here in lots of places around central Wisconsin, and had the power go out here at home. So I was not able to get on and be able to upload a show yesterday. I wasn't even able to watch the end of the Brewer game. That was the worst part. Down in the basement, we got chucked in a tornado warning down in the basement there. And I had the Wi-Fi, was watching the Brewers, watching the weather all in one, and then all of a sudden, Wi-Fi kicks out because the power shut off. I was like, oh, crap. Then all of a sudden, the service goes. So now we got nothing. We have no weather channel. We got no radio going on at the moment. Like, man, oh man, it was a crazy little storm. Little is an understatement that came through, and prayers to anybody who was affected by that storm. And hopefully it's smooth sailing from here, and everything gets cleaned up back to the way that it was, and it's kind of just an afterthought. But we're early yet. We're early in the spring, and man, it is something. It is something. So getting off that, I mean, we're enough about the weather. Enough about the weather. I know, everybody experienced it. Hopefully everybody is okay, and we are, enjoying the sunshine today, right? We're enjoying the sunshine today, but we had the Brewers in action 2 days now. Haven't been able to talk about those games. I want to get into them. I want to get into the last two matchups, the Brewers and Marlins. I don't know how far we're going to get today. Lots of stuff going on in the sporting world. I'm just going to dip and dive a little bit here and there. But like I said, it's been a hectic couple of days for me, myself here. So I'm going to, go for a while here, and we'll see where the day takes us, right? So right away, before we start, I want to mention a couple of the sponsors of the show. Proud to have them as sponsors of the show here. First, Game Day Supply in Alaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Alaska to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield. Also, Marshfield Motor Speedway is located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield on County Road H. You got to get down there this summer for tons of family fun for all ages. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. All you can ask for in a great summer day or night. Find the schedule on Facebook or online. Just search Marshfield Motor Speedways. Otherwise, on my Facebook page. I share it there on the Facebook page, Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. You can find the schedule and get yourself down to the track. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. If you've been injured recently and you need physical therapy, stop in there and see Chad at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. He will get you right. He'll get you back to work, back on the court, back on the field. Whatever it was you got injured doing, he'll get you back there. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. Sports Scene, sports cards, and memorabilia located in the Marshfield Mall in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Stop down there and see Al. He has everything you need, from sporting cards to memorabilia, jerseys, model stock cars. He's got it all. Sports Scene in Marshfield. And also Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville, Wisconsin. With that, though, I want to get into these Brewer matchups there. I want to get into first off, the Tuesday night matchup. This is the one I was not able to see the whole thing. I got to see my last update of this game was when the Brewers were losing in this one. So, it wasn't, I was like, well, it's okay. It's okay. Power went out. Service is gone. Can't see the end of this crap show. It's all good, and end up coming back and winning this game. I ended up watching the highlights, seeing the end of this one. Great stuff there. Brewers bullpen locked the door at the end. It was good stuff all the way around. For the Brewers, Tobias Myers recently called back up. He got the win. Pook took the loss for the Marlins, and Trevor McGill got the save for the Brewers in this one. Monasterio led off once again, 1 for 2 in this one, 2 runs scored, and a walk. And then we did see Bryce Terang late in this one. William Contreras, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs and a run scored. Yelich, 1 for 3 with that big triple there late in this one, 2 RBIs and a run scored. Adames, 2 for 5, 1 RBI, 2 strikeouts in this one. Joey Ortiz, 1 for 5. Sanchez, 0 for 4. Churro, 0 for 4. 1 for 2 for Miller there, and then Blake Perkins went 2 for 3 in that game. Good to see Blake Perkins starting to hit a little bit at the bottom of the lineup there. Brewers, 11 hits in this one. 11 hits compared to the Marlins, 12 hits in this game. Also, 6 walks drawn in this game here, 7 RBIs, and they did have 9 strikeouts. So the strikeout numbers were down in this one for the Brewers. That was a good sign. Walks were a little bit higher. That was also great. And, we saw the bats. The bats showed up in game 2. Right, the bats showed up in game 2. Something we've been worrying about with the Brewers is, it's not just one guy against lefties. It's all of them against lefties, right? And that's something that to watch here for the Brewers moving forward is when they face lefties, what the lineup looks like and how they do in that matchup. And that's something that was good to see in this one against a left-handed. The Marlins got lefties rolling out in the rotation. They got lefties in the bullpen out there. They got a lot of lefties. That's for darn sure on this roster. So Brewers, good. Looking at the team runners in scoring position, 5 for 19 on the game there. They left 10 guys on base. Looking at runners in scoring position with 2 outs, Adames left 2, Ortiz left 2, Contreras, Bowers, and Churro all left runners on there with runners in scoring position. So, not a bad game with runners on. Just they had a lot of traffic on the base paths and not a lot of hits with runners on. So this game could have looked a lot different than what it did, but the Brewers stuck it out, right? They stuck it out in this one, got the win. Gasser in this one, 6 innings, 10 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 earned, 5 runs in total there. No strikeouts for Gasser there, but that ERA still sitting at that 2.65. Not his best performance, but stuck it out. Right? He stuck it out in this one. Looking at, the hiccups that happened there, the Brewers did have an error there. Monasterio had an error that led to one of those, the unearned run. Outside of that, you stuck it out, right? A young pitcher, 10 hits on him. He had traffic on the base paths all night there and was able to stick it out. No walks. That's the big thing that I look at with these Brewers pitchers. No walks at all to the Marlins in this game. So solid, keeping it around the strike zone and keeping it close, making the Marlins have to earn it there. And 12 hits. They earned it a little bit, but got the job done. Tobias Myers out of the bullpen, though, 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Solid out of Tobias Myers. Maybe that's his role, right? We brought him up. We tried this guy in the starting rotation. Wasn't the outcome that we were looking for, right? Maybe it's a bullpen role that suits Tobias Myers. We could potentially see that. That could be an interesting move. So keep an eye on that one there. I don't know if that's actually going to be what happens. We have Joe Ross now currently on the IL, so we don't know what's going to happen there with that starter spot, but potentially see maybe another starter. I don't know. Maybe see another starter get called up. Maybe see the Brewers go out and sign somebody, to fill that void. I would probably say not sign somebody. I'd be leaning more towards we're going to bring somebody up or try to play bullpen by committee. We love to do the bullpen by committee. Yoel Payamps, that was a solid outing out of Payamps there. 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. It is going to be great, and it will be great if Payamps can figure it out, right? Because the bullpen scuffled a little bit, right? No Abner Uribe. Trevor McGill's been solid, and so has Brian Hudson. But you were going into this season thinking you had a bunch of good relievers out there in Payamps, Paguero, and Uribe, along with Trevor McGill. You were talking Devin Williams back in, but Payamps being the setup man, Uribe potentially being that 7th inning guy, that hasn't really, been the key so far here for the Brewers. So hopefully Payamps starts to find his location, find his stuff, get some nasty stuff working in there, and Payamps gets back to being a great reliever like we saw last year in stretches there for Payamps. And also Trevor Megill, like I said, he got the save. 3 strikeouts for Megill there, 1 hit, 1 inning pitch there. Solid, just a solid knockout punch between those guys. You look at the last 3 guys to step in there for the Brewers. In each one of their innings of work there, both Tobias Myers and Payamps, 2 strikeouts apiece, and then Trevor Megill with 3. 7 strikeouts there to record the 9 outs between those 3 guys. No runs given up, only 2 hits. No walks. Like that is about as dominant gets coming out of your bullpen. That's great stuff. That's great stuff. Like I said, these guys, trying to find their stuff yet, and in this young season yet, and it's hopefully coming around here because an outing like that, that's great stuff out of the Brewers in this one. Gasser, he threw 80 pitches. 59 for strikes in this one. So keep it, like I said, keeping it around the strike zone. You look at all these guys. Tobias Myers, 16 pitches, 11 for strikes. Payamps, 15 pitches, 11 for strikes. And then Megill with 14 pitches and 11 for... That's crazy. That's crazy. I get the pitch numbers are different, but each one of them threw 11 strikes in their innings of work. That's wild. That's a wild set. I was just looking through this for the first time myself there. That is craziness right there to see some of those stats on that. But like I said, Gasser, he keeps the ball on the ground in his outing. 11 groundouts in this game compared to 4 flyouts. Now, flyouts, I'm not going to say that flyouts are a bad thing to have, right? You can get some flyouts in there. But, Gasser keeping the ball on the ground, that's what you love to see. Forcing some double play balls, whatever it has to be. That's good stuff all the way around in this one. Payamps with that violation. The pitch timer violation, it happens, right? It happens. Nothing to really sweat about there. He ended up getting out anyways, getting his outs. So good stuff there by the Brewers. Only a couple of hit batters in this game here by Gasser. So, what's the magic number, I wonder? What's the magic number of guys you can hit in a game before they toss you? That's what I want to know. What's the magic number? Because Freddie Peralta's was 1. So what's Gasser's magic number? It's not 2, so maybe you can get a 3rd. I don't know. Maybe we try it. Next time out, just plunk 3 guys. We'll see what happens, right? See if we toss somebody out of a game here. Wait until we have Guccione back behind the plate and see if Gucci will toss Gasser out. One of the younger dudes out there pitching. No anger against anybody. And we toss him. That would be funny. That would be funny stuff right there. That really tipped the hat to what Guccione's all about there. But all the way around, right? Game 2 of this series, a solid night for the Brewers there. Game 3, that's the I got to watch that one. I wish I would have watched Game 2 over Game 3. I wish the Storm would have came through on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, because that was a 1-0 loss there. A solo home run in the first inning of this game was the difference. You can't even, if somebody out there wants to blame Freddie Peralta for this loss, you are nuts. 1-0. A solo shot, 1 bad pitch, basically, right? You say runs scored are basically off of bad pitches, right? Home runs given up, bad pitches. Sometimes you can make a good pitch, end up giving up a bomb, right? But odds are you made a bad pitch. Freddie makes 1 bad pitch in this entire game. 4 hits for the Marlins in this entire game. Brewers, 4 hits in the entire game. Nothing to show for it. That's the problem. Monasterio in this one, he was 0 for 4. Contreras 1 for 4. Yelich, he goes 0 for 4 in this one. Adames 1 for 3. And then down the lineup here, we saw Joey Ortiz go 0 for 3. Gary Sanchez had a good game, 2 for 3 for this one. And then looking down the line, Churro 0 for 3. Owen Miller 0 for 3. And Perkins 0 for 3. 5 strikeouts, right? Not bad. They're putting the ball in play. A lot of fly balls. A lot of flyouts for the Brewers. I would love to see. I was just going to look at that here. Looking at Luzardo, he had 11 flyouts in this game. Over 8 innings of work, he had 11 flyouts. 4 groundouts in this game. That tells you a lot. That tells you a lot of where, what's going on. And yeah, that's not a good combo. not a good combo there for him. And then, I mean, we look around here, we look at the lineup for the Brewers in this one, and like I said, not really a strikeout problem. Yelich with 2 strikeouts in this one. Outside of that, Churro, Perkins, and Contreras all struck out 1 time. Outside of that, Brewers putting the ball in play, just a lot of flyouts. A lot of weak hit flyouts, high flyouts, right? I mean, it's not like they were little bloopers, right? They're high flyouts, but I mean, just nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it in this one. Brewers 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position and 3 guys left on base. You can't even yell about hitting with runners in scoring position. There was nobody on, right? There's nobody on. Who you hitting? Nothing. Brewers couldn't get anything going. And when they did, I'm trying to remember back here, but the one time I can remember blatantly of having a runner in scoring position was when Churro technically got picked off at first, but then they threw the ball off his back. That's like the one scoring threat I thought the Brewers really had in this one. Outside of that, Gary Sanchez got on a couple times. Nothing else really. Nothing else really to show for it in this one. This was just, I mean, a rough game all the way around. Churro had a stolen base there earlier on. Outside of that, Adames, that was late. That was when he got hit in the back. Adames got caught stealing. Contreras got, he picked off Tim Anderson there. Not a lot good happening. Freddie Peralta, though, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, giving up 7 strikeouts and a walk. That's a solid day. Right? I mean, you're the ace of the staff. You're supposed to be the ace of the staff. That's a solid day. That's a solid day. They're like giving him the Corbin Burns treatment right now, right? The Corbin Burns treatment, like, hey, I know you're going to give us 1-run baseball here, but I'm sorry, we're not going to score you. Right? That's the Corbin Burns treatment. That's what we're giving to Freddie Peralta right now. And then we saw Paguero come in for an inning there, and zeros across the board. Brewers pitching was fine, right? We always talk about the Brewers pitching, and the Brewers pitching was fine in both of these last 2 games. I mean, outside Gasser had a little hiccup. Outside of that, nothing wrong really with that pitching performance in Game 2, and then Game 3 here, pitching was fine. We're looking at this pitching saying that the pitching needs to be better, the offense needs to be better. And I take it back to what I said 2 days ago about Bryce Trage not being in the lineup. I get matchups. I get if you look at Trage's stats with versus lefties versus righties, he does have that lower stat line against lefties, but he has 18 at-bats against lefties. It's not like it's a big sample size. And yet we're going to say that that's going to be the sample size we use? Like, I don't get it. Dude's batting .310, right? If anybody's batting .310, I'm going to give him the shot. I believe he's still batting .310. I was just going to go double check that now. It's just so my stat was not off there. .310. I mean, he's batting .310. I'll take my shot with it. I don't care what the stats say. I'm going to take my shot with the guy who's hot. And especially in the leadoff spot, because Trage changes the game. It's just like when Garrett Mitchell comes back, or you have Sal Frelick on base, right? These guys, they change games by the things that they can do on the base paths. At the plate, working counts, little dribblers, bunts, right? These guys notorious for laying down little sack bunts, and beating them out. I get it. I get the matchups that they're trying to play. I just look at it and I say to myself, man, oh man, I just wish that, we would give these guys shots against. The only lefty we play is Christian Yelich. And I mean, I would love to see, I'm going to look that up real quick. I want to see, because I can see, lefties, righties, how they hit against them there. William Adames is batting .188 against lefties. So I wouldn't really put Trage's sample size into that much of a microscope, because pretty sure that 188 isn't better than Trage's. But I'm going to look up Christian Yelich here. See what he's doing against lefties in his stat line. I can't even knock this guy. I can't even knock this guy. He's hitting 389 against lefties. I can't even knock him. 389 against lefties. Yelich is in there versus lefties, right? That's what we're saying right there. The guy's got to stay in there. I mean, come on. I was expecting to pull up my stats, be like, oh, 250, right? Trage should be in there, and I see 389. It's like, now I can't even compare the two. But, I mean, that's Yelich is Yelich, right? The dude, he's been, to start the year, he's been hitting very well. You know, he's been on a burner to start the year. He got injured for a little while. Hopefully he gets back onto that burner that we saw early on. But you're playing matchup with Monasterio. You're playing matchup with Owen Miller. And right now, Miller's not as big of a deal because you are. Rhys Hoskins is out. So it's not as big of a deal. But, I mean, you look at some of these stat lines and look at Jake Bauers since April 26th, and he's got an OPS. I believe he's got an OPS of 1.060. That is actually third best in the NL right now. Joey Ortiz has the best OPS since April 26th, and Shohei Ohtani second there. And right behind him, 0.008 behind Shohei Ohtani there is Jake Bauers. So, I mean, you look at that kind of stat and you say to yourself, why is he not in there? Makes you wonder. But, I mean, I don't know. I get what Pat Murphy's trying to do, right? It's trial and error. You're going to have series like this. You're going to have some struggles. You guys have heard me freak out about Greg Gard before on the show here. So if there's anybody who's going to freak out about a bad coach or a bad manager, it would be this guy right here. I was freaking out about Jordan Love in week 3. So, I mean, you're preaching to the choir here if you were thinking that I should be freaking out right now. But, I mean, if this continues to carry over, I mean, we've seen this series now, or watching this series, or we just watched this series against the Marlins. You're going to be facing a lot of righties when you go play the Red Sox. So if this hitting struggle and, you know, it carries over into that Boston series, then we worry about it, right? Then we start to say to ourselves, okay, what needs to change? Is the aggressiveness of the Brewers different than what we saw early on? Are they not playing as much small ball? Are they not trying to just find holes? Are we going for the home run swing? You know, the little things, right, that may have changed since what we saw early on. Or is it just pitchers are starting to figure out the Brewers and the Brewers need to figure out the pitchers, right? I mean, you get some of the homework on some of these guys, and that definitely gives, you know, pitchers, whatever, the upper hand. So maybe some of these guys are doing their homework on the Brewers, and the Brewers coaches, I mean, hitting coaches and everything like that aren't doing very good homework on the other ones there. So, I mean, there could be a lot of variance into it. And we're just going to ride it. We're going to ride the wave, right? We're going to see what the Red Sox series brings us, and then if there needs to be a blow-up, I'll blow up about it after the Red Sox series, right? You guys know me. I'll blow a gasket like it's nothing. So, I mean, we'll get into that. We'll get into that more tomorrow there. We'll get into the Red Sox series preview coming up for the weekend. Lots to talk about there. I'm hoping. He told me the other day he was going to be on. I have a special guest coming on. He's in Georgia, but he is a huge Boston Red Sox fan, huge Boston fan, used to live in Boston, and, I mean, Celtics, so he's everything. Celtics, Boston Bruins, he's everything Boston, right? I'm hoping to have him on so that way we can get into it with him and, I mean, just see what he's seeing right now with that Red Sox team, and hopefully we can preview that series for you and get it good to go. So with that, I just wanted to talk about real quick just the NBA playoffs. We have the Eastern Conference Finals. We have the Western Conference Finals set. I just wanted to talk about that. I wasn't able to talk about it the other day, but we saw the end of those series there Boston ended up beating the Cavs. We saw the Pacers beat the Knicks in Game 7. Knicks were injured up the wazoo. I get it. The Knicks weren't. I never believed they were that great of a team. Honestly, I was okay if the Bucks saw them in the playoffs there, if the Bucks would have advanced, right? But, I mean, still, like, you go into a playoff series and you have Jalen Brunson playing hot, but then Jalen Brunson ends up getting hurt, and then you lose OG Anunoby early on in that series there, and then you lose him. He comes back for Game 7. The Pacers kind of take advantage of him being a little bit injured, and then he ends up going out anyways. You're asking for a problem. You're asking for a problem, especially, they had injuries. Mitchell Robinson was out. Julius Randle was out. Everybody seemed to be banged up on that Knicks team. It just gave you that Bucks-Pacers vibe, right? And that's not to take away from what the Pacers did. I want, because I want everybody to know that, I don't like the Pacers. I have voiced that to everybody who will listen, that I don't like the Pacers. I don't like the way that they play. And I dislike a lot of the people on that team. I dislike a lot of the players. Gotta be honest with you. I'm not a fan of their games. What I will say is, the way that they shot the ball in Game 7, I mean, that was phenomenal, right? It's the best playoff performance that we've seen, right? I mean, it was fantastic. Now, like I said in the Bucks series, if you give me some matchups, like with the Bucks, you give me Giannis against Siakam, you give me Bobby against Miles Turner, then I think it changes the dynamic of the series, right? It puts a lot more pressure on Halliburton. It puts a lot more pressure on other guys to hit shots, right? I think it was the same in that Knicks series. No Anunoby, no Julius Randle. Now, I'm not saying all these guys are all defensive guys and everything like that. But what I'm saying is, you add that athleticism, you add the different styles of play. I think it does change those series. I think it really does. Now, like I said, that's not to take away what the Pacers did, right? But Tyrese Halliburton, if you're gonna wear the Reggie Miller choking sweatshirt after the game, wear it before. Wear it before. Don't just walk into the arena with that thing tucked into your bag. What are you gonna do if you lost? You're just gonna walk out. You're gonna put it on inside out and walk out of the arena, like, dude. Come on. Like, I get you to you, right? But Jordan would tell you, right? That's the thing that I get with a lot of people is, like, Jordan would tell you. I still remember the story. I can't remember who they're playing. I can't remember. Names sometimes slip me, but I remember the story. They were heading to play a team there, and Jordan was getting off the bus, and the one guy was standing there, and he goes, "Well, you're not playing tonight?" And he goes, "No, I'm not playing." And he goes, "Well, I'm dropping 50 then. I'm dropping 50. And he goes, he kind of just chuckles and he laughs it off anyways, And they had a young guy who was going to be guarding Jordan. He said, "Just so you know, Jordan says he's dropping 50. And he said, "No, he's not. No, he's not." He said, "Just so you know, Jordan says he's dropping 50. He went and dropped 54, right? But that's what you get these new age guys who they love to fight. They love to fight on social media, and they love to do all this crap. And you have guys in the past like Jordan and Kobe. They would just tell you. They tell you straight up. Like, Jordan's like, "Yep, we're dropping." Jordan, after he came back to the league, he was wearing the number 45. And after he got swept out of the playoffs, right? And yes, Jordan got swept out of the playoffs, right? It happens. He gets swept out of the playoffs. And the one guy goes, "Number 45 ain't the same as number 23. Next season, Jordan had the number 23. He swept them in the playoffs, went all the way to the finals and won it, right? That's the difference. That's the difference of the new age versus the old age. I love the trash talk. I just wish guys would back it up. I wish guys would back it up. Trash talk went all the time, right? Jordan trash talked all the time. Kobe, he trash talk you all the time. He didn't care who you were. Jordan didn't care who you were. They're going to trash talk you all the time. You get these new guys that they'll trash talk you when they're up by 20, when they're up by 30. It's like, dude, come on. Like, do it all the time or don't do it, right? It really bothers me, right? And in this new age, it's like you can't really bruise them up either, right? I tell you what, I can't remember if it was Nemhard. I think it was Nemhard in that series against the Bucks where Bobby got into it with him. who are you going to take if they let those two, if they just let that scuffle go, they separate them later on in the game? Who are you going to take if Nemhard's coming to the rim, Bobby or Nemhard, right? Or Bobby is barreling down and Nemhard's standing in front of him. Who are you going to take in that position, right? That's what I'm saying, is that those little things, you don't get them anymore. You don't get the bruisers anymore, because simply the NBA won't let it happen. They won't let it happen. So, I mean, that was my take off that. I probably... Some people might not like it, right? Some people might be Pacer fans. They might not like it. That's just my take on it. I'm just not a fan of the Pacers. I am not a fan of the Pacers. I will give them props. They have played very good basketball. I just have not seen them play anybody healthy yet. If they beat a healthy Bucks team or a relatively healthy Bucks team in the playoffs, and then they beat a relatively healthy Knicks team, more power to you, right? More power to you. But it's like the Celtics. I mean, and same concept with them. Have they beat a healthy team yet? Right? That's my only take with that. So, I mean, that should be a good series. Yeah, game one was fantastic. 133 to 128 in overtime. The Celtics got the win. I never wanted to cheer for the Celtics, but like I said, I'm cheering for the Celtics in that series. Hopefully they win that one there. But that game will be Thursday then. We will see the Celtics and Pacers square off on Thursday, and then we will see a matchup between the Mavericks. That's happening tonight here as I'm recording this. The Mavericks, and I believe that game is happening tonight here. I just wanted to make sure on that. Magic and Mavericks and the T-Wolves are squaring off right and now as we speak in the fourth quarter. It's 99-98. Our Timberwolves are up. So a good game there, but that is also a fantastic series. Surprising to see that the Nuggets got knocked out. I got to be honest. Surprising to see that, but Timberwolves, that's a good team. That's a very good team. And the Timberwolves and the Mavs are playing very good basketball, and they're getting carried by a guy who's very much injured in Luka Doncic, right? He's still got an injury plague. He's been plagued throughout the playoffs here, and he's getting around, right? But the Mavs-Timberwolves series could be a very good one. I think both series could end up as a very good one there. So, should be good stuff happening up. That's going to be tonight here. Like I said, that game is happening, and then I believe Friday will be game 2 of the Mavs and T-Wolves. And then, like I said, Thursday will be the Celtics and the Pacers, game 2 there in Boston. So with that, that's about all I got for today. Like I said, it was going to be a little bit shorter. Just getting back into the swing of things. Like I said, some long days out there in storm cleanup around here. Like I said, prayers off to anybody who may have been impacted by those storms. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. But until I talk to you guys again tomorrow, deuces.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river, I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by the heart of man. Down to the river, down to the river.